Greetings, football fans.
This is the ESPN LA USC Trojan Media Network.
Presented by Pechanga Resort Casino.
Are you ready for some football?
And this is Trojans Live on this Monday, September 1st. Happy Labor Day. And on this Labor Day edition of Trojans Live, we celebrate Saturday at the Coliseum.
Welcome to Trojans Live,
the exclusive USC Trojans coaches show.
Fake to Jordan, dump over the middle. That's complete to McCree, the tight end. He's on the run at the 40. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, USC.
Behind the scenes insights and breaking news from the student athletes who play for the Cardinal and Gold.
How do you do?
Trojans Live is presented by Monster Energy. Monster Energy, unleash the beast.
Unleash the beast.
And our USC Trojans putting up 73. We recap it all with head coach Lincoln Riley and get ready for game number 2 this Saturday at the Coliseum against Georgia Southern. Plus, we'll look at the defensive side of the ball for our Trojans and our Football Roundtable. Plus, a look at USC men's water polo. That's all ahead on tonight's edition of Trojans Live.
Live from Los Angeles.
Now live from Heritage Hall, here are Jordan Moore, Shaun Cody, and Cody Kessler.
Hello and welcome to Trojans Live, presented by Monster Energy on ESPN LA 710 across the USC Trojans Media Network. I am Jordan Moore alongside the All-American Shaun Cody, our quarterback Cody Kessler, and the head coach Lincoln Riley. Appreciate you joining us. Fun one on Saturday. Trojans hang 73 on the Coliseum scoreboard. USC's head coach interview is presented by Trust Capital, the official crypto platform of the USC Trojans. Coach, you were excited to get to see your team against another team. What were your high-level takeaways from the first game?
Yeah, I thought the guys handled game one well. It was good to see the group play complementary football. We dominated in a lot of the big play categories on both sides of the football. Played a pretty disciplined game, a pretty clean game. I thought we tackled pretty well. We were able to get out of some tackles and create some big explosive plays down the field offensively. And so, yeah, it was good. It was a good start. It was great to be able to play a lot of different guys on both sides of the ball. I mean, I think the value for some of these guys getting their first real experience in the Coliseum, a lot of these guys first time playing college football, a chance for us as a staff to evaluate kind of all of these guys when you get them in that game atmosphere is great. And these guys know from doing it, it's also just great for the locker room. Like, it's great for all these different guys to be able to play. It's a long season, and there's the scout teams, and there's the developmental group that's also going on while the season's happening, and everybody's going to see the guys that play on Saturdays, but you don't see this other part that is vital to having a championship football team. So for those guys to get that opportunity is just it's really cool for I think morale, and it's always good when you get one like that.
Yeah, and you can see the guys on the team how excited they are for the guys. Who don't get those opportunities. You saw Jaden over there, excited for Longstreet. Some of the defensive guys with that interception. So that's great to see that, Coach. When you're trying to eval this kind of game with the coaches, is it tough? Because it's, not only a first game, you don't know how good your opponent's going to be or what they go, but you kind of overmatch them a little bit. What's the evaluation process when you go against a team in the first game?
Yeah, I think one like that where you got a distinct talent advantage, I think you're really looking at just how did we execute, not necessarily based on the other player, but did we communicate well? Did we line up well? Were our fundamentals where they needed to be? We had some plays in the game where, we made it work because, we had a better player than them at that point, but against better players, we'll have to do it better. The discipline will have to be there. The fundamentals will have to be better. And so, yeah, I think you always understand the scoreboard never tells the entire story. There's always context behind it. That's why you watch the film. That's why you grade them hard. And so, yeah, we were very, we're not afraid to be complimentary with our guys where they did well, but also we were very critical of them, in our game review yesterday of the things that, have to be better and need to get better this week. And there's a lot of them on both sides of the ball.
Coach, I was very impressed with Jaden Maiava's poise and command of the offense on Saturday. You could tell that he really progressed this offseason. After watching the tape back, how would you evaluate your quarterback's performance?
He played well. He did. He was he was steady. He saw the field well. He really didn't have a bad decision all day. He never took care of the ball. Made a lot of plays. Had a couple out there that we left out there, but I mean, he just made a lot of very steady plays for us. And I mean, I think even like the first play of the game was cool to see. You know, we gave up a little bit of a pressure there. You know, he just kind of calmly gets out of the pocket, makes a nice, smooth, easy completion, and we were off and running from there. So he did a good job managing the group, and he did a good job leading the group too on the sideline. Was just very, very vocal, very into it. Just, I know we described it for you guys, but I think everybody saw, like, you know, looks. You know, you could tell he's been in it now.
Yeah,
you know, and
100%.
And that's obviously how we want him to look and how we want him to progress.
You're listening to the head coach Lincoln Riley on Trojans Live, and you got a whole half because of the way the game worked out to take a look at your freshman quarterback. You know, who knows how much he'll play throughout the season. So what do you want him to take away from really that large chunk of time that where he got to get his feet wet? Yeah,
it's great to have, you know, your second guy be able to get some of those reps when he's never done it before. And I think, you know, he was obviously excited to play, and I thought he handled it well. I mean, I think there's a few times where he's gonna have to just settle in a little bit more. But you see the arm talent, you see, you know, obviously the athleticism was on display a couple of different times, and I think, you know, as he goes forward, just like, you know, Jaden last year and all the other guys we've had kind of at the beginning of their careers. I mean, I can remember, you know, Caleb in the beginning where it was a little helter-skelter at first, and it just kind of started to settle down. And so, you know, that'll be the progression, and I think the part for Hassan that we'll continue to push on. But there's nothing like getting that first one out of the way and having some success, and guys made some plays around him.
Wasn't ready for the physicality. Is that part of his game you wanted to use, or we're gonna start tailing that one back a little bit as you throwing it in there?
You always wonder about it because obviously they're in, you know, gold jerseys during practice.
Mm-hmm.
So as you guys know, you know, quarterbacks don't get hit very often in practice. So you're always kind of wondering, what's it going to be like when a guy takes off in a game? So, yeah, I mean, I think it was good to see that there was no hesitation, like that if he needs to go, he'll go. And a couple of times that he really pushed it, it was, you know, some key third downs where, you know, wanted to stay on the field. And so, you know, he's got to learn to not be reckless and pick his spots. But, yeah, it's good to see a guy not only that can run, but also that'll finish plays as well.
Coach, you mentioned last week that you'd be disappointed if this wasn't the best running back room that you've had here since you've been here at USC, and I think everyone can see why now after Saturday. What impressed you the most about that unit?
Oh, I mean, I would say, you know, probably the explosive plays that we created, and both the run and the pass game. You know, we were really effective there. We broke tackles. You know, you saw a little bit of, you know, Wayman's, you know, wiggle and the ability to make people miss. You know, able to see, you know, Eli take off, obviously, on the screenplay and create some big plays in the run game as well. You know, I told you guys King Miller hits a long run every day. So, so he got that one done. You know, Brian came in and ran really tough and physical for us, had the first or one of the early touchdowns. So, yeah, it was a good group. It was a good day for the groups. Good to see all four of them be productive. And like I said after the game, we're gonna need all those guys. Yeah. But I like the four skill sets in there.
On the defensive side of the ball, how open is the cornerback position right now? It seemed like you guys were in a heavy rotation. You also have some guys banged up, I think, that you hope to get back at some point. Where does that stand, you know, coming out of camp and I guess after game one?
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, DeCarlos has I would say, you know, established himself as a guy that's, you know, going to be on the field for us. You know, he's played well. I think he's been our most consistent corner throughout camp. And did some really good things the other day. You know, DJ Harvey's done some really good things. We thought both Conley and Marcellus Williams came in the game and did well, so it was good to see those guys jump in there and perform. You know, we should get Chasen Johnson back hopefully this week, which would be great to get him rolling because I know he can certainly help us as well. So, yeah, we obviously looked at some different lineups. You know, we're able to play some different guys out there, which was great. And, you know, I mean, I think – kind of like the running back room, like we're going to need all those guys. Yeah. Like we're going to need them. And so how the depth chart shakes out, I think will largely be dependent on just really how these guys perform going forward. But it was good to see some of the young guys get in there and play well. And like I said, hopefully we can get Chasen back and throw him into the mix, and we should have a pretty deep group after that.
How about the two fronts, Coach? Offensive line, defensive line wise, you know, you were a little bit flexible with the offensive line during the game. You shuffled some guys in and out. Defensive line wise, I thought the ends really stood out, made some plays. What'd you think of those two groups?
Yeah, you know, we did a pretty good job controlling the run game defensively. Got some pressure. the big deal, I know we've talked a lot, coming into this season, how the offseason was, the ability to pressure and affect the quarterback with 3 and 4 man rushes. We were able to do that some. So, the ends were all impactful, had some really impactful plays. And we didn't have a ton of huge plays. We had a few huge plays inside. I mean, Jade had a sack. Tompkins had a couple of really, really big plays. Jaw had a big play. We created some explosive plays, but we plugged stuff up pretty good inside. We were controlling gaps and really minimizing space, which was good. O-line, I thought the first O-line played pretty good. There's a few run plays that we definitely need to be more clean in. We protected for the majority of the day. We protected pretty well. And some of the young guys came in and did well on the young O-line. We played some different lineups there, moved some guys around position-wise. And so, I think there was enough to get you excited, but enough that we certainly got to get back to work too.
Coach, speaking of some of the young guys, and I hate to bring it up, but I feel like the entire Coliseum and Trojan fans around the country were yelling at Garrett Pomerantz to just please go left.
Go left, baby.
100 yards of real estate to the left, but he went right. I was wondering if you guys got a chance to watch that in film. And what was the reaction from the team? Did he hear from everybody?
He did, but I think everybody – he's like one of the most beloved players in the program. So I think everybody was – they gave him a little bit of a hard time for not housing it.
Yeah.
But – I think obviously him getting the turnover and kind of having that moment in his first game action was obviously really, really cool. So, that team was – I would say it was like more genuine excitement and happiness for him and then just a little bit of ribbing on the side.
The pick six would have been awesome, but it's almost an even better story now that you ran to the one guy that could have tackled you. You had everywhere to go. Did he say the ref?
Who was a quarterback
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. Who was a quarterback.
Yeah.
Yogi Roth tried to say that the ref was a reason that he didn't go that way. Did he make that excuse, or he had nothing?
You know what? We'll stick with that story.
There we go.
Sounds better.
The ref threw him off. That's funny.
Game 1 is in the books. Game 2 is coming up on Saturday. USC versus Georgia Southern. Same kick time, 4:30. Trojan Tailgate Show will go on at 2:30. This game is on FS1, and it's presented by United Airlines. And if you're ready to take it to the next level, unleash the beast this college tailgate season with Monster Energy. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet. Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. We'll talk to Coach about Game 2 coming up on Trojans Live.
Tonga Resort Casino.
And it is Trojans Live on this Monday, September 1st. Happy Labor Day. Celebrating the win Saturday at the Coliseum to open up the season.
Longstreet, hands off to Miller, changes directions, goes straight up the middle and gets away. Still on his feet at the 50. It's a race to the end zone. They're trying to cut him off at the 30, at the 20, 10, 5. Touchdown. Touchdown, USC. King Miller, 75 yards. How do you do?
We continue with head coach Lincoln Riley right now on Trojans Live. Once again, your host, here's Jordan Moore.
Trojans Live is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casino, proud partner of USC football. And hey, Trojan fans, did you know the Ralph's app gives you easy access to weekly sales and personalized coupons? You can earn fuel points too. Check out the app today and save while you cheer us on to another great season. Ralph's a proud partner of USC Athletics. Jordan Moore, Shaun Cody, Cody Kessler, and the head coach Lincoln Riley kindly joining us for a second segment as we get into Georgia Southern and I'm sure some other topics as well. But as we know well around here, the head coach at Georgia Southern is sort of your predecessor in Clay Helton. Do you know Clay at all? I guess was my only question. Obviously we all know him pretty well.
Yeah, I've met him a few times on the recruiting trail when he was at SC and I was at OU, and then honestly I've got to spend the most time with him. We do a big coaches charity tournament out at Pebble Beach in May every year. It's a really cool cause. It's been going on for a long time. Dick Tomey was one of the original kind of founders of this tournament. But anyways, Clay goes out there with a group from Georgia Southern, and I've been able to go the last couple of years. So I've actually got to spend a lot of time with him there. Yeah, he's fantastic. Just awesome human being, awesome coach. We've had some great chats, being able to talk about just some different things, crossover during our times, talking ball, certainly talking about SC, but he's been great. Really have enjoyed getting to know him and his wife and being able to spend some time with him.
Yeah, Georgia Southern took a tough loss over the weekend, Fresno State. What do you see from them? They're staying on the West Coast, just traveling down for the game. What do you see from their squad?
Yeah, they are. They're doing the long West Coast trip and going to stay out here, which certainly makes sense for them. They were right in it. Obviously, I think we're leading at half. We're playing really well. Fresno got a couple big plays on them there in the second half and got some momentum and separated a little bit. But no, they're a tough physical team. You could see that on tape. They return they return quite a few players, especially on the defense, and they've got some guys that can pop. So they're very creative offensively. Tried to do a lot of things. Compare them. I mean, there's some similarities to even like maybe a Penn State, where a lot of different eye candy, a lot of kind of unique formations, and try to really challenge you from a responsibility and an eye discipline standpoint. So we'll have to do a really, really good job there. But yeah, no, excited to welcome him in. It'd be great to have Clay back in the Coliseum, and we'll look forward to seeing those guys on Saturday.
Coach, you started the game in 12 personnel on Saturday, or a 2 tight end look with Walker Lyons and Lake McCree. Was that game specific, or is that something that you want to make a point of emphasis this year to get the tight ends more involved in this offense?
Well, we'll see how it evolves throughout the year. I do think getting that room better has been a point of emphasis since we got here.
Yeah.
I thought that was probably one of just the weaker rooms that we inherited a few years ago, just in terms of just the depth and talent and where we want to be. And so, we've worked hard to overhaul that room in a lot of ways and add more talent, depth, scholarship numbers. I mean, everything to it. Love playing with great tight ends. So, it's good to see those guys get involved and be able to do some different things for us. But we've got some decisions to make. I mean, obviously we talked about the backfield already. You can make a lot of argument to playing those guys a bunch. We feel good about some of these receivers and then feel good about the tight end room. So it'll be, some fun decisions each week on how we're going to play.
You're listening to the head coach, Lincoln Riley, on Trojans Live. Coach, I was looking at the opening depth chart, and what really stood out to me was how many of the guys at the top are homegrown players now in year 4. It felt like in the last couple of years, if you brought in a transfer, you were plugging holes right at the top. They were going to be your guy right away. And now, by my count, you have an or at one position. It's like 3.5 transfers at the top. And you're still counting on transfers, and you've got them working in at depth in different positions. But what does it say about the development of this program that now you're having these guys that are starting to grow up and being the guys? When you look at, Shaun mentioned that the defensive line, those are the homegrown guys that are sort of holding off some guys that you brought in.
Yeah, I think one way we've kind of verbalized it in our program is like we're kind of fully in phase 2 now. It is, and then I think where we want to be in terms of bringing guys in, developing guys, obviously doing a great job, recruiting this area, and then cherry picking from some of the different areas in the country because of the national brand that we are, and then using the portal, only when we feel like there's an absolute need there that we need to go get, and that's what we want to be long term. You can feel that. You can feel that with the depth. I think you can feel it with, like you said, just a number of just guys that aren't new faces that have been in the program, and not just developing as a player, and not just developing within a defensive system or our offensive system, but too just within just the culture, right? Just within understanding SC and understanding what we're building here, why it is so important to the school, the state, really the country. And so the more guys you have like that, the better that locker room's going to be, the better the mentality, the edginess, the toughness, the pride in the program and the history of this place. The better all that gets. And that matters everywhere, but a place like this, it really matters.
Coach, Labor Day, and that means barbecuing. I know we have talked about your world-famous barbecuing skills. Will those be on display today? You got a full schedule, I'm sure, but you got to mix in some good barbecuing on Labor Day.
I wish. I'm gonna let you guys handle it for me today. So yeah, this is we're right now for us, holidays, that. It's they're a little irrelevant right now. We're in the middle.
I'll hold you down on the
You got.
I'll Shaun Cody on that one.
Thank you, Shaun.
Big a solid guy. We'll get it going.
Appreciate you taking the time. We know there's no holidays around here right now. Coach is coming up and lead his team out against Georgia Southern on Saturday at 4:30 p.m. That game is presented by United Airlines. Trojan Tailgate show to go on at 2:30. Stone IPA. Shaun maybe has one of these in mind this afternoon. Inspired by a generation of brewers and beer lovers, made in Southern California, Stone Brewing's first anniversary ale continues to be today's iconic West Coast style IPA. Crisp, light-bodied, and packed with hoppy flavor. Located at fine.stonebrewing.com. Well, we talked about the playmaking that was on display on Saturday. On the defensive side, Bishop Fitzgerald. How about that for a debut? Little pick 6 in the Collie. He's next on Trojans Live.
The ESPN LA USC Trojan Media Network. Presented by Pachanga Resort Casino.
We're back with Trojans Live.
It's a touchdown, USC!
USC.
And it is Trojans Live on this Monday, September 1st. What a win Saturday at the Coliseum. Time to look at the defensive side of the ball.
Clark wants to throw, looks right, zeroes in. It's intercepted. Fitzgerald. He might go at the 25-20. He's going to score. Touchdown, USC. Bishop Fitzgerald. The transfer from North Carolina State, and the Trojans have scored again and have opened it up 27-3. How do you do?
This is Trojans Live. Once again, back to your host. Here's Jordan Moore.
Our Best of the Game is brought to you by Old Dominion Freight Line, official freight carrier of USC Athletics, helping the world keep promises. Jordan Moore, Shaun Cody, Cody Kessler, and you just heard him, Bishop Fitzgerald. He got the first "How do you do" out of Pete Arbogast. That probably doesn't mean much to you yet, but that's our play-by-play guy. It's his signature call, but he doesn't throw it out there in every touchdown, Bishop. Only the big ones, and you gave him the first opportunity to use it this season. Man, that must have been a dream. I mean, your first game in the Coliseum and the Cardinal and Gold, you come over. What was that feeling like? You pick it off and realize, there's nobody in front of me.
Yeah, it was just a crazy experience. I think just the Coliseum in general, just going out there and seeing the fans, seeing the atmosphere for the first time, it was like a surreal moment. Something you dream of as a kid, just watching USC and the name and the brand behind it, and just going out there and doing what I do. It was crazy.
Take us through the play a little bit. It looked like you had the playbook on that one, man. You just you sprinted right over to that wide receiver. You knew the QB was going the whole time. Tell us about that play.
Yeah, it was a look. As soon as I saw the motion, I knew they wanted to throw that dig right behind it. So it was really just trusting what I saw on film and what Coach Lynn and Coach Belk prepared me for. They prepared me for that moment. So I really just trusted my instincts there, and you saw what happened.
You mentioned Coach Lynn. I truly believe he's one of the best defensive coordinators in the country. What's it been like getting to learn from him since you stepped foot over here at USC?
Yeah, Coach Lynn, he's crazy. Like, he's such a football guy. And
yeah.
I talked to him on my visit for like 2 hours. Like, my mom fell asleep in the meeting on my visit. We were just talking football for so long. But, it's a blessing working with him. And I think that, just what he's done and, like, the pedigree of his defense and how much better it's gotten since last year. And then I think the jump this year is going to be pretty good.
You're listening to Bishop Fitzgerald on Trojans Live. Why USC? I imagine you had a lot of choices once you hit the portal for your final season. Why'd you choose USC?
Yeah, I think just growing up an East Coast guy, I think, like, the West Coast has always been, like, the dream. Like, just coming out here and, like, my visit here was my first time in L.A., and it was kind of like all the fires and stuff were going on, so I couldn't even do that much. But, like, I really just got to spend time with the staff, and I think the staff here is, like, they're so great. Coach Ryan, Coach Belk, Coach Lynn, then Coach Riley, obviously. I think that was the main reason why I came here to staff.
Talk about your room a little bit. Obviously, you're working with a guy, Kamari Ramsey, who was a pretty good player last year. He's coming in, decided to come back and do it again with you. Christian Pierce rolled in with you guys a little bit. You guys had 3 safety look back there. What's it like in that room?
Yeah, it's a great room, just a real brotherhood. I think, like, in terms of me feeling like a family, this is the quickest it's ever felt. I think the first few weeks here, like, I spent more time than I have at my last school. So I think Kamari, he's such a smart player, obviously, and he's super funny outside of football. That's my guy. We hang out all the time. And CP, and then even the young guys like Marquise and KU who just got here, Kennedy, and we're so tight bonded in this group. Like, it's special.
When you win 73-13, there's obviously a lot of positives on film. But when you watch the tape back, what are some things you guys want to get better on going into this week as a unit?
Yeah, I think obviously that long ball, that touchdown against the bunch, just guarding bunches, and when they know we're in man coverage, kind of operating in that, and then some alignment stuff. Like, they had a few busted runs that we were responsible for, and a few coverage checks that we didn't get as fast, and we're kind of scrambling on film. So, first game jitters, but I think we still have a lot of room for improvement. I think just really the man coverage stuff.
Yeah.
We had a great conversation after the game on Saturday with Wayman Jordan, who came up through the junior college ranks and now gets his shot at USC. You went through the junior college ranks and you go to NC State, then you come over to USC. What was your journey like? It sounded like for him, that actually ended up kind of being a little bit of a blessing for him. Well, how about your journey? How would you describe it?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Just coming from a junior college, I wasn't really recruited out of high school, so junior college was like a restart for me. So coming out of junior college, that was my first time playing safety. I played quarterback through all of high school. So I think junior college really taught me just how to love football and love the process. And, it got me to NC State. And I actually played Reed, Jandre Reed, at Hutch. I played him my last year in JUCO. They beat us in the playoffs. That was my last JUCO game. And then Wayman redshirt that year, so I didn't play against him. But we kind of have our banter about that, and we'll be tuned in for the Hutchinson-Coffeyville game this year. But JUCO, it just gave me so many opportunities, obviously, to be here right now, so I'm grateful for it.
You mentioned Los Angeles. You got here with the Fires. Obviously not the best start, but after that, how's your Los Angeles experience been?
Oh, yeah, I love it. I got to bring my mom here because I tell her I'm not going home anytime soon.
You mentioned that you played quarterback a little bit in high school. How much of an advantage is that, now playing on the defensive side of the ball, and you can kind of get inside the mind of what a quarterback's thinking?
Yeah, I think it's just a huge, advantage. Just knowing that, the reads and, what coach teaches them,
go
through the reads and the whole process of that. I think that kind of just allows me to play fast and use my instincts and my advantages, no hesitation. And if I see something or I feel something, I could just trust it.
It's kind of a fun schedule looking at it. It's because it's kind of progressive. The games are going to sort of stack on each other and get bigger and bigger, and you're going to be in Big Ten play soon. You're going to get a chance to play at Notre Dame. It's a big game at the end at Oregon. I know you guys take it one game at a time, but this being your year, a chance to play in the Big Ten. What are you looking forward to? Are the stadiums, opportunities, just the stage? What are you looking forward to about being in the Big Ten?
I think just a little bit of everything. Obviously, the stadiums and the names, playing at Oregon is every kid dreams of Oregon, their jerseys, the stadium, all that. And then I think just the conference itself right now, I think it's the best conference in football right now, just the pro style of it. And then the amount of teams that are good in the Big Ten right now is pretty crazy. So I think that's kind of was a big thing, and it kind of attracted me to USC as well, knowing that they just went to the Big Ten. So I think
This safety room looks fantastic, certainly on display on Saturday, and much more to come from Bishop Fitzgerald and the Trojans. Fight on Trojans and fly on with ONT. Ontario International Airport is a proud sponsor of our USC Trojans. Visit SoCalSoEasy.com to start planning your next vacation today, and don't wait until game time to plan for retirement. Open your free iTrust Capital account today and get your crypto IRA. iTrust Capital is the official cryptocurrency platform of the USC Trojans. All right, we're going to pivot when we come back to men's water polo. Some might say the most difficult sport here at USC. Charlie Mills is next on Trojans Live.
We're back with Trojans Live.
This is the ESPN LA USC Trojan Media Network, presented by Pechanga Resort Casino.
And it is Trojans Live on this Monday. Big win Saturday at the Coliseum. We take a break from talking USC football to talk about USC men's water polo. Right now on Trojans Live. Once again, your host, here's Jordan Moore.
Want the inside scoop on this game and all things Trojans? Be sure to sign up for the 3 Torches presented by Smart & Final. It's a free newsletter. Hit your email inbox 3 times a week with game info, player insights, and more. Go to usctrojans.com/3torches and sign up. And Monster Energy is the official energy drink partner of USC. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet. Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. Jordan Moore, Shaun Cody, Cody Kessler, and Charlie Mills from USC Men's Water Polo joins us now. It says Charles on the website, but you go by Charlie?
I go by Charlie.
Okay, cool. We'll call you Charlie. Don't want to offend at all. You're the goalie on this team. Redshirt sophomore, you're already a captain. What did that mean to you to have a leadership position, still, as a underclassman, or I guess, or a sophomore?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to, see my team backing me and believing in me. And we also have Bernardo Hertzer and Andre's captain, so us 3 working together to, achieve our goal is something great.
Big off season for you. The junior Olympics for you, silver medalist. Pretty good off season there. Not too bad. What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was a long journey to the U20 team. We started trying out back in December, and then every weekend we would have tournaments, which ended up being our tryout because, of course, everyone has they're in practice and off-season practice. So led up to the championships in Croatia for the under-20s, and we ended up getting silver, which was awesome. Yeah. So
Jordan mentioned that you played goalie. How difficult is that to tread water the entire match and not get exhausted? What type of shape do you have to stay in to be able to compete in every single match?
Yeah, I mean, so goalie and field player are different, but then similar in the like where you really have to have strong legs. So
yeah.
You're moving back and forth, and especially, the ball's on offense and defense a lot quicker than it is in other sports. So you're constantly, doing egg beater and moving left and right, following the ball. So
you can't grab the pole and hang on for a little bit. Just a little break.
When you say
quick breaks,
so when you say egg beater, is that when your legs move like that? Is that what it's called? I just got a visual? That's awesome.
The legs.
I didn't know that had a name. Okay.
Keep you up.
Yeah.
Did you bunch of sports in your family? Your brother plays football at Washington. You're obviously a big guy. You have swimmers in your family. You have rowers in your family. How'd you end up in water polo?
My uncle was a swimmer in college, but no one had been in my direct family a water polo player. My dad was from the East Coast, and my mom grew up swimming in Pasadena. So my uncle played water polo a little bit as well in college, and he introduced me to when I was younger. So I tried it out, and I fell in love with it.
Father's a Navy SEAL. I imagine you were in the water before you could probably ride a bike. I imagine you've been doing this for a while, right?
Yeah, he had us swimming all at a young age, getting comfortable in the water. So.
You ever asked Dad about some of those stories, man? I mean, what's it like, that kind of training, all that encompasses being that,
yeah,
right?
he's amazing. He's always pumping me up with motivation and, what I can do better, what I need to work on. So I'm extremely grateful.
You can't come to him with any hardships like, Dad, I had a tough day in the pool. He's like, well, son.
Exactly. No, but yeah, he's extremely supportive, and yeah, definitely.
Do you know what SEAL stands for, Shaun?
Oh, good. No, more trivia. Why trivia? Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah.
Sea, air, land.
Oh, that was easier than I anticipated.
So you have
Nice.
you got the sea in the family. Your brother's working on land. You just need, like, you have a pilot in the family.
I know. Now we just need a
You
pilot.
have other brothers. We could
Exactly.
find something in the air for them to do.
Yeah, the expectations here for USC water polo are always high. What's it like, managing those expectations and keeping the standard what it is here at USC?
Yeah, I mean, we're always gunning to win the national championship.
Yeah.
Hopefully, last year we came up short in the end. But I think, what's great about this season is we've got a big class, a lot of new guys coming in and stepping into leadership roles right away. So, as a junior, that's really cool to see, people come in and learn to lead right away.
Shaun, have you ever gone spearfishing?
I've seen Leonard Williams do it on Instagram. That's it. That's my extent of spearfishing, yes.
Cody, have you ever gone spearfishing?
No, I have not.
You're an avid spear fisherman.
I wouldn't say avid, but I like doing it. I'm not very good.
What does it entail?
Yeah.
Shaun's only seen it on Instagram.
Well, you got to link up with Leonard Williams, man. This guy does it every weekend, man.
I thought he does it every
The
weekend.
big cat is in the water, man.
I saw Michael Pittman Jr. also big
Man,
time.
You got to link up. We got to link you up with these
Yeah.
guys, man. You'll love them.
Yeah, exactly. But no, basically, I mean, depending on the water temperature, you get your wetsuit, spear, fins, and you can go out with some buddies, go over the rocks, of course, in the safe areas, and you kind of swim down. You got to be able to hold your breath, which is hard and something I had to work on. But go down and perch up on a rock and see a fish and pull the trigger. It's not as easy as I thought it would be when I first tried it, but yeah, I love doing it, and it's something I want to do more.
This sounds up your alley.
Nah.
Is this like the new thing?
I'm a pool guy,
is
man.
spearfishing the new thing?
I don't know if it's a new thing, but a bunch of the guys on our team love doing it, and it's fun.
I've never
It's
heard
the
of
new
anybody
thing.
doing that.
It's the new
There's
thing.
scary animals in that sea, man. I don't know about that.
You said you're from Northern California, right? Is there a lot of water polo up there? Did you have to travel a lot? Because it's big down here in Southern California.
Right.
Or did you travel a lot when you were growing up and playing in tournaments?
Yeah, so in NorCal, it's also huge.
Is it? Okay, cool.
But a lot of the majority tournaments that happen are down here in Orange County in LA. So I'd say the farthest you're traveling is down here. But again, lots of water polo in Northern California. So I was fortunate to have that up there where I live.
Was USC always your dream school? Was this where you wanted to go to when you were growing up
It
playing water
was,
polo? Okay,
yeah.
cool.
I mean, the history this school has, especially with the water polo team and athletics in general, was just amazing. So
Good squad this year. We taking it down?
great squad. We're taking it down. Yeah.
Always in the
Extremely
mix,
proud.
man. USC men's water polo always in the mix. I think you got skipped. Did you have something you wanted to add, Shaun?
No, I would more excited about spearfishing now, man.
I know. I thought I was
kinda
going to get you excited. He's going to take you.
We might do a
Yeah.
little vlog on me and you going for a nice trip, man. They're getting.
Yeah.
I got
I look
nothing.
great in a wetsuit. You want to see me in a wetsuit? Jordan, I'm
I
telling
saw
you.
that in 2023 you had to battle some injuries and were sidelined for most of that year. What's
Right.
it been like overcoming that adversity and now being a leader on this team?
Right. So yeah, in 2023, I injured my wrist, and
Yeah.
never had I been taken out of something I loved. I mean, you wake up in the morning, you're like, I got to go to practice, and when that's taken away, you kind of realize like what a privilege it is to be able to go do that and go do the thing you love, even if it's early wake ups and workouts. So once I came back, I mean, I was just so grateful to be able to play the sport again and be with my team.
That's awesome.
Well, thanks, Charlie. Good to meet you. Shaun will meet you in the water. He'll wetsuit on.
Yeah.
He's ready.
Let
to
me know
go.
when you guys go spearfishing.
He's ready to
I'll
go.
join you.
USC men's water polo 4-0 start. They host Long Beach at Utangzoo on Friday. That's a 5 p.m. start for them. So get out to Utangzoo. USC men's water polo, always a national title contender. USC women's soccer also, our women's spotlight. They have a huge match on Thursday against Stanford at at Rawlinson. So two of the best programs in the country, the old rivalry, Pac-12 with Stanford. So a big week here at USC, not just the football game on Saturday. But we will get back to the football game on Saturday next with our Football Roundtable on Trojans Live.
The ESPN LA USC Trojan Media Network.
Presented by Pachanga Resort Casino.
And this is Trojans Live on this Monday, September 1st. Happy Labor Day. Big win Saturday at the Coliseum over Missouri State.
Miller stays in. He's the one back for Longstreet on 3rd and 9. Rushes on. Longstreet goes right up the middle to the 10, to the 5, to the goal line, and in the end zone. Touchdown. Husan Longstreet. Blocked by Xavier Jordan, backup receiver. And the Trojans are on the board again. Put up a 60.
We get ready Saturday for an old friend and Georgia Southern. Time for the Football Roundtable. Keely Eure joins Cody Kessler, Shaun Cody, and once again your host. Here's Jordan Moore.
Trojans Live is sponsored by Pachanga Resort Casino, a proud partner of USC football. With Shaun Cody, Cody Kessler, I'm Jordan Moore, and we're joined by Keely Eure, our weekly Football Roundtable. We pivot very quickly to game 2 here against Georgia Southern. But listen, it was as blowout as they get on Saturday. So maybe hard to have a lot of definitive takeaways from a game like that. It was certainly fun to watch. Everyone got to play. We saw lots of long touchdowns. Was there anything, any one thing that stood out to you?
I think, too, first of all, this running back room is legit. Obviously, we need to see as we get into conference play what that looks like. But 4 touchdowns by 4 different backs. It was fun to see the run game really get involved. But also the tone and character of this team. I feel like we got a better sense of it on Saturday now that we saw it in action. First off, when they got off the bus, you guys talked about it with Coach Riley, but the same uniforms, they chose that. Coach Riley said he presented it to the team as we can go NFL style or we can go all the same, and they wanted unity. And he said, from what I've learned about this team over the course of the offseason, I wasn't surprised by their answer. So it seemed like, even when the game was definitely out of hand, everyone was still like locked in, cheering each other on. And so I think that's such a good sign just to see from a culture standpoint.
Vibes were excellent.
I was really watching, I probably like Cody, I was watching Jaden. I think last year, watching those last 4 games and seeing how he worked himself, and then a lot of discussion of do we need a transfer quarterback and what's going to happen in the offseason. I wanted to see where his head was at, and it seemed like he's matured. He's composed. There was no mistakes. Obviously, that you go against that kind of team, you shouldn't be, but he seemed like, he wasn't as loose with the ball. I thought that was important. So I just it seemed a more, matured quarterback in my opinion, and hopefully he just keeps taking steps in the right direction.
Yeah, the thing that stood out the most to me is the talent on this roster and the depth. I mean, regardless of who the opponent was on Saturday, when you go back and watch this tape, there is some serious talent on both sides of the football. Probably the most talented roster that Lincoln Riley's had since he's been here at USC. If this team can stay healthy and continue to get better week in and week out, and I know we won't learn a whole lot about them until we get to conference play, but I truly believe that this roster can be a contender for the Big Ten Conference this year.
I agree with you. I certainly think some position groups you look at and you're like, they're ready.
Yes.
Like it's what he talked about 3 years ago, and they weren't ready, and they were just patching it together. And it's a couple of people's individual talent, like Caleb, was making up for some areas that weren't ready. Now I look at it, and that was sort of my question to him about the depth chart. I call them homegrown players. Obviously, some of them are transfers, but they're transfers that have been here 2-3 years. But a year ago, 2 years ago, Keyshawn Silver gets recruited here. He goes into the starting lineup. That's not even a question. And now you look at a D-line room, it's got dudes. Kenny Urlacher comes in. He's the 4th tight end, 4th safety. Yeah. They've got guys. So I agree with you. There's some rooms that really look ready to go. Any individual players that stood out to you?
I'm going to go 2 parts, present and future. Like Shaun said, I thought Jaden Mayava looked pretty comfortable out there. That's something that we all were looking for this offseason. And then future, Husan Longstreet. We saw him kind of show off that skill in a Coliseum scrimmage for the beat reporters, but he didn't show off the wheels. So
yeah, he ran more than I thought he would.
More mobile than I expected and that I've seen in fall camp. So that was pretty cool to see.
Got 2 guys on defense. Bishop Fitzgerald, I thought he was fantastic. You think going into the game, you think Kamari's going to make all the big plays, and really kind of a quiet game for him, but it didn't matter because he was making some big plays out there. And then I thought Cam Fountain looks fast. He looks like he took off-season serious, and he wanted to take that next step as a player. And he looked like he was running around the edge quick. He that TFL, so he looked quite speedy out there.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with both of them. I obviously watching the quarterback, I thought Jade Mayava was very impressive on Saturday, and I challenged him all offseason. There were areas that I wanted to see him get better at, and in my opinion, he checked all those boxes. Right, he protected the football. His decision making was great. 0 turnovers all day, and really no turnover-worthy plays. He never put the ball in harm's way. The other thing that he did a good job of was his accuracy, and his footwork got better. 83% completion percentage. Last year it was 58%, and it was so cool to see because it could have been 100%. We had that easy layup miss to Mekhi Lemon, which he makes 99 times out of 100, and he's got to make those. We had the drop by Jacoby Lane, and then the ball that got batted down at the line of scrimmage on the 2-minute drill. The other thing that I thought was important, too, is his leadership, and Coach Riley mentioned it, and we talked about it last night on the podcast. He was great, and he had great command when he was on the field, but when he came out of the game, he was engaged, and he was rooting for those other guys, and he was cheering on Hassan Longstreet, and he almost beat King Miller to the end zone down the sideline on his long touchdown run. That's what you want from your quarterback. And then the last thing I mentioned was him being more of a factor in the run game, which he did a little bit, and he had the rushing touchdown, but he did a good job of managing the zone reads, knowing when to give it, knowing when to pull it. But with how talented this running back room is, I don't think he's going to have to be that big of a factor in the run game this year. Just keep the defense honest. But overall, I was very impressed with the 14th performance on Saturday.
Yeah, I thought Wayman Jordan, first carry that he had, looked like he was shot out of a cannon. Yeah. That was just one of those, like, okay, this guy's got some pop to his game. And let me shout out an old guy. I mentioned this on the broadcast. Lake McCree, I think what we saw at the end of last year just was not Lake McCree. He was out there taking one for the team, being a warrior, but, like, he got hurt in that Michigan game. I don't know what's in the medical file, but he got hurt. That Michigan game, I remember when it happened, we were like, that will be the last we see of Lake, and then somehow he came back. But he was, I believe, going into that Michigan game last year, the leading receiver on the team. And yesterday, when you saw on Saturday, I mean, he even said it, I think, in a post-game quote, "Oh, I haven't touched that top end speed in a while." So he's obviously healthy and feeling good. And Cody mentioned it. Maybe the third receiver on this team is the tight end or the tight end room. So we'll see if Lake can sort of get back to that. So now what do you want to see from Saturday? I will say I think this is a better opponent. You guys have talked about it a little bit more, looked at it. They've been to 3 straight bowl games. So maybe a step up in competition, albeit not a Big Ten game.
Well, I'll say a touchdown by a wide receiver. Now, I say that as a joke, but it's kind of crazy. 73 points, the most scored by a USC team since 1930, and a wide receiver didn't contribute by a catch in that sense. It was crazy to see, but in the sense that I want to see that wide receiver 3 kind of develop. I feel like we saw a lot of guys rotate through Prince Strawn, Tanook Hines, who actually starts to settle that wide receiver 3 position. I'm curious.
Yeah, I'll be watching the offensive line, I think. I mean, a good game. You watch some stuff, and there's some stuff with a little bit leaky in the run game, a little bit on maybe some protection stuff. So I'm going to be watching the offensive line. They're going to be playing, I think, a better group of front guys.
Yeah, I want to see how quickly this team can turn the page and go out there and do it again, right?
I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, 73-13, you're feeling good about yourself, but it's 24 hours. It's over. Go out there and do it again. This is another nameless, faceless opponent. I want to see a team that's hungry to go prove they can continue to get better. And look, I might be the only one on this, but I really felt like as soon as they stepped off the bus, there was a different energy and attitude about this team that they haven't had the last couple years under Lincoln Riley, and I want to see them take that to another level this Saturday.
And I think it can be hard, right? Everyone gets up for the season opener, even if it is a lower opponent. Now you go sort of back-to-back with this sort of low major opponent. That's show me that concentration that, hey, we can come back and do it again. So be curious to see if they can do that on Saturday and maintain that focus. We've got one more segment to come of Trojans Live.
The ESPN LA USC Trojan Media Network.
Presented by Pachanga Resort Casino.
And it is Trojans Live on this Monday, getting set for Game 2 of the season Saturday at the Coliseum against Georgia Southern. Our final segment of Trojans Live right now. Once again, here's Jordan Moore.
One final segment of Trojans Live is set for Week 2, USC versus Georgia Southern on Saturday. Kickoff at 4:30. Trojan Tailgate Show at 2:30. We are live in the Peristyle. We got to hang out with some people on Saturday. Would love more of you to come. We're going to try to get a speaker out there so that everyone can hear the show really well. If you just hang out, it's kind of some nice shade up there. So come say hello, meet the big guy. get an autograph. Cody's maybe sign something for you. All those 6 jerseys out there. Somebody still got them. Somebody got a Drake London autograph on Saturday.
Yeah.
They brought a Drake London Falcons jersey and got him to sign. So whoever the tunnel captain is, we should have an interview there too. So come on down. We got one more segment to go here. It's the Over Under presented by Pechanga Resort Casino, proud partner of USC Athletics. Guys, USC leads the nation in scoring at 73 points per one game. Over under 49.5 on Saturday for the Trojans offense.
I'm going to take the over.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, I'm going to go over as well. I think if they can keep rolling, Jade Maiava's hot right now. You've got those 3 backs. Killian O'Connor is leading this offensive line. Like Keely mentioned, though, I'd like to see the wide receivers a little bit more of a factor in this game. Mekhi Lemon looked great, but after that, someone else is going to have to step up. But, yeah, I'm going with the over on this one.
Yeah, I want to be a contrarian here, but I think
3 for 3?
Yeah, I think Georgia Southern. I don't think they can match.
Yeah.
I think there'll be an emphasis to get those wide receivers going this week. Obviously, I think running backs got it going, but I think you'll see the wide receivers pop this week.
Clay Helton returns to the Coliseum. That'll obviously be the headline story. He probably has been the coach that sat in that chair the most in the history of Trojans Live. Cody had a chance to play for him. As a person, and Lincoln Riley said it well. Nothing but good things to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was here with me during those coaching changes and all the controversy and all the adversity that we faced. So I love him as a person. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out here at USC, and the right decision was made. And now we have Lincoln Riley, but it's going to be a fun game to watch, and it's going to be interesting to see how they welcome him back to the Coliseum.
Yeah, a little extra spice to it.
Yeah,
bring the old coach back, and we'll see him on Saturday. We will see you for the Trojan Tailgate Show, and then back here next Monday for Trojans Live. Thank you to everyone who makes this possible. It's a production of USC Sports Properties and Playfly Sports. Guest producer today, Bailey Moore in the house.
Yeah.
Woo! All right, everyone, enjoy your week and fight on.
This has been Trojans Live, presented by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast.
Miller stays in. He's the one back for Longstreet on 3rd and 9. Rushes on. Longstreet goes right up the middle to the 10, to the 5, to the goal line, and in the end zone. Touchdown. Who's on Longstreet?
Tune in Monday nights at 6 p.m. on 710 ESPN and on the all-new ESPN LA app. And follow us on the ESPN LA Trojan Media Network. Trojans Live is an exclusive presentation of Playfly Sports on 710 ESPN and the ESPN LA Trojan Media Network. Presented by Pechanga Resort Casino.